Hello everyone, I'm going to teach you the first lesson of civics. I'm going to teach you the first lesson of history class 8. So let's commence learning this lesson. This is the first lesson of history class 8. And the name of this lesson is How, When and Where. History. History is about finding out things that happened in the past and how things have changed. History is the study about the past and how things have changed. History was synonymous with dates. How, when, and where is a lesson all about dates and how important dates are when it comes to studying history. It gives students a brief idea about earlier history and how they used to specify dates according to their respective events. Now, history is the study of past and how things have changed. History is the study about how things have changed over the years. History is about the changes that has happened. History is synonymous with dates. This lesson is about how dates are important in history, and this lesson gives a know-how about how history specifies dates according to the respective events. Historians were fascinated with dates. History is about changes that occur over time, finding out how things were in the past and how things have changed. As I already mentioned, history is the changes that occurred over time. It is the study of past and how changes have taken place. Historians are very much fascinated with dates. History was earlier an account of battles and big events. It was all about rulers and their policies. Historians wrote about the year a king was crowned, the year he got married, the year he had a child, okay, how he fought a particular war, the year he died, the year the next ruler succeeded to the throne. Okay, so history is about the changes that occurred over time. The historians are fascinated with dates. And history is the study of past and present, what happened before and what happened after. Earlier, history was a study about battles, big events, rulers, their policies or rules. See, in most of the history books, you can read when a king was crowned, when he got married, when he had child. History was limited to a particular topic. You can also learn about what happened when the king died, when he died, who became the next ruler after the death of the king, and all the events had dates. Am I right? All the events of history had dates. The dates we select and compose the story of past are very important. This subtopic is which dates. Earlier, it was how important dates are in history. Dates are important in history. Okay, which dates? See, the dates which we take are related to the story of past. Dates are important because it focuses on certain events. Okay, some people find history boring because they think it is only about dates. But the dates in history are important because it talks about particular set of events. It talks about chronology of different personalities, lives marked with different chapters. It gives a chronology of a particular event. It is to give each chapter some coherence. Coherence means clarity, when something is clear. See, history is a story. It tells a story that makes sense. Let's talk about how we periodize history. Let's talk about James Mill. James Mill was a very popular Scottish economic economist and a political philosopher. James Mill was a Scottish economist and a political philosopher. In the year 1817, he wrote a 3-volume book, and the name of that book was A History of British India. James Mill divided history into 3 parts: Hindu, Muslim, and British. James Mill thought that Asian society were at lower level. James Mill thought that Asian society is inferior It is at lower level compared to Europe. Asian society is below than Europe. According to his telling of history, according to James Mill, before British came to India, Hindu and Muslim rulers gave more importance to religious intolerance, caste taboos, superstitious practices that dominated social life. And according to James Mill, after British rule, okay, the British people civilized India after British rule. The idea of history represented all the forces of progress and civilization. Historians divide Indian history into ancient, medieval, and modern. So, let's see how James Mill divided history. James Mill, who is a Scottish economist and a political philosopher, he divided history into three parts, three periods in his book A History of British India. He divided history into Hindu, Muslim, and British. James Mill thought that Asian societies were at lower level of civilization than Europe. See, according to him, before the British came to India, the Hindu and Muslim despots ruled the country. The Hindu and Muslim rulers gave importance to unwanted things like religious intolerance, caste taboos, superstitious practices. But after the British rule, people became civilized. People were progressed because after the British rule, there were forces of progress and civilization. And the historians divided history into three parts: ancient, medieval, and modern. This division too has problems. It is the periodization that is borrowed from the West. Now, uh, the modern period was related to the growth of modernity, forces of modernity, science, reason, democracy, liberty, and equality. Medieval was used to describe a society where the features of modern society did not exist. And one more thing, during the British rule, people did not have equality, freedom, or liberty, and there was no economic growth and progress. James Mill divided history into three parts: Hindu, Muslim, and British. Okay, the the British historians divided history into ancient, medieval, and modern. This term was borrowed from the West. Modern history is about liberty, equality, democracy, science, reason, and medieval history is a type of history where modern society does not exist. And during the British rule, there was no economic progress and no freedom, no liberty. What is colonial? Colonial means when a country occupies another country. British came to our country to conquer our country. British came to our country to rule our country. The British people controlled the local Nawabs and Rajas. So the British established the control of economy and society. The British collected revenue to meet all their expenses. The British purchased goods at lower prices. They produced the crops they needed for export. See, the British came to India and they brought many changes. The British started ruling in our country. After capturing our country, they subjugated, they controlled the local Nawabs and Rajas. They collected revenue. They purchased goods from India at cheaper prices. They produced crops they needed for export, and they changed the values, taste, and customs and practice. Okay, so when one country subjugates another country, there are political, economic, social, and cultural changes. This is called colonialization. When one country occupies another country or subjugates another country, there are different kinds of political, economic, social, and cultural changes. This is called as colonialization. Administration produces records. The British believed in the act of writing. The British believed the more you write, the better it is. So British people believed in the act of writing, and the British people produced administrative culture of memos, notings, and reports. The British preserved documents. Important records were preserved in administrative institutions. That means the British made documents for everything. Whenever the British people uh, did something, they used to write it down. They used to make a record of everything. They used to keep a record of every single thing. They used to carefully keep the documents and letters. Important records were preserved in administrative institutions. In the earlier years of the 19th century, these documents were, see, the calligraphists. Calligraphists are the people who are specialized in the art of beautiful writing. So, what was the job of calligraphist? They used to carefully copy and beautifully write the documents. By the middle of 19th century, after printing was invented, there were multiple copies of the records. There were numerous copies of the records, there were numerous prints of the records as proceedings of each government department. So the British people preserved the records. Okay, this is an important source of history, official records of the British administration. The British believed in the act of writing every instruction, plan, policy, decision, and agreement, investigation was written. British people used to write each and every single thing. They used to keep a record of everything. This belief produced administrative culture of memos, notings, reports. They used to make notes, memos, and reports of everything. Important documents are kept safely. They're preserved carefully. There are record rooms, okay, where these documents are kept. They are attached to the administrative institutions, the village Tehsildar's office, the collectorate, the commissioner's office, the provincial secretariat, the law courts, all had their record rooms. And specialized institutions like archives, museums were established to preserve important documents. And the people who used to write and copy these documents were beautifully were known as calligraphists. And when printing was introduced, there were numerous copies of these records. Many copies were printed. Survey. Let's talk about survey. The practice of surveying became common under the colonial administration. There were detailed surveys to map the entire country. Okay, surveying means to study a country, to map a country, to make a map of the country. The British believed that a country had to be properly known before it is administered or ruled. So there were detailed surveys carried out to make the map of the entire country. In the village, revenue surveys were conducted to know the topography, soil quality, the flora, fauna, the local histories, and cropping pattern. From the end of the 19th century, census operations were held after 10 years. Just remember, from the end of 19th century, census operations were held after 10 years, which prepared detailed records of number of people in all provinces of India, noting information on caste, religion, occupation. There were many other surveys like botanical surveys, zoological surveys, archaeological surveys, anthropological surveys, and forest surveys. So, what is surveying? Surveying is the practice that was followed under the British administration. Country has to be properly surveyed, it has to be studied to map the entire country. In village, there was something called revenue survey that was conducted to know the topography, the soil, the flora and fauna, the local histories and cropping pattern. And census was held after 10 years. There were detailed records of the people. There were detailed records of the people in different provinces or places of India. There were informations about people, the caste, the religion, and occupations. And there were different types of surveys like botanical surveys, zoological surveys, archaeological surveys, anthropological surveys, and forest surveys. Now, see, the British kept a lot of official records. But the official records do not tell what the ordinary people in India felt and lay behind their actions. See, the official records do not tell the feeling of the people. There were records like diaries of people, accounts of pilgrims and travelers, autobiographies of important personalities, popular booklets, are found other than official records. Printing was introduced and newspapers were published and issues were debated in public. Readers and reformers wrote to express their ideas, poets, novelists wrote to express their feelings, but from these sources, history cannot be explained, and how the tribal and the peasants, the workers in mines or poor on the street lived in their lives. See, there were a lot of unofficial records. Unofficial records tell the feelings of people, but the official records do not tell the feelings of the people and their actions that lay behind. The unofficial records were diaries of people, accounts of pilgrims, travelers. Pilgrims are the people who go for pilgrimage, holy places. Travel, see, there were accounts of pilgrims, travelers, autobiographies. Autobiographies are life history which a person writes by himself. Autobiographies of important personalities, booklets, okay, and there were ideas of leaders, reformers, and there were also feelings of poets, novelists. Okay, and after printing was introduced, newspaper published various issues. Many issues were debated in public. So these were the unofficial records. But there are many sources of history, okay, that do not tell about the lives of common people, tribals, peasants, workers in mines, or poor on street, their lives. Thank you so much. I hope you have understood this lesson. I'll give you a quick recap of the lesson. How, when, and where. History is about the study of past and how changes have occurred over the years. Okay, dates are important in history. Many historians are fascinated with dates. Many people find history boring because they think history is only about dates. But history is not only about dates, it's about the changes that occurred over time. It is the study of past and present. Earlier, history was about battles, events, rulers, policies, when a king got married, when a king was crowned, when he had a child, when he died. The dates which we select in history compose the story of the past. Dates are important in history because they show a set of events, they show chronology of events that makes history clear. In 1817, James Mill, a Scottish economist and a political philosopher, divided history into three parts: Hindu, Muslim, and British. James Mill thought that Asian societies are inferior than European societies. So he said before the arrival of British, the Indian and Muslim rulers ruled the country. They gave importance to religious intolerance, caste taboos, and superstitious beliefs. But after British came, people started to be progressed. People progressed, civilization took place, and British historians divided history into three parts: ancient, medieval, and modern. This term has come from the West. Modern history is about science, reason, liberty, equality, democracy, and medieval history is the history where modern society does not exist. During the British rule, there was no economic progress and people didn't have freedom. Let's know the meaning of colonial. Colonial means when one country occupies the another country. When British came to our country, they occupied our country, they collected revenue, they purchased goods, they produced crops which they needed. So when one country subjugates or occupies the other country, okay, there are political, economic, social, and cultural changes. This is known as colonialization. They completely change the values, tastes, and customs practices. The British believed in the act of writing. The British believed it is important to maintain official records. Everything must be recorded, every document must be preserved carefully. and records were preserved in administrative institutions and they were copied and written beautifully by calligraphists. After printing came into being, there were multiple copies of these records. And surveying was important by the British. It was important under the British administration. Surveys are detailed study to map a country. There were different types of surveys like revenue surveys about topography, soil, flora, fauna, and cropping pattern. Census was held after every 10 years, and there were surveys on people, caste, religion, and occupation, detailed records. And there are different types of surveys like botanical surveys, zoological surveys, archaeological surveys, and anthropological surveys and forest surveys. Official records do not tell about the feelings of people, how they
It's
felt.
11 o'clock.
Okay, there were unofficial records like diaries, newspapers, booklets, and ideas of leaders, reformers, accounts of pilgrims, travelers, okay, and feelings of novelist and poet. I hope you have understood this lesson. Thank you so much.